Champagne. Most of people know the three kinds of grapes, which are Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay. But close to that, as we really enjoy the history, we have preserved the old grape varieties too, which are Petit Méliès, Arban, Pinot Blanc, and Fromenteau, which is called sometimes Pinot Gris. So we have all these type of grapes on our winery. So the advantage of Brouillet is the basement of the vineyard. So you can see on your back side here, this is the part here, so that where the sun not rise down. So on this part we are more planting on Pinot Meunier because of the ground. The underground is based mostly on clay and mixed with chalk. On the other side, on the east part, sorry we can't see it now, over here you can see a little bit the top vineyard here. There's quite a rustic valley, so the advantage is we grow trees, we grow fields for feeding people and catering, and we have the vineyard to grow grapes for champagne. So on the top part we have some Chardonnay because it's in the right here, and the underground on the top is more chalky soil, so it permits to grow the Chardonnay grapes and the Petit Méliès, Arban, Pinot Blanc, and Pinot Gris. And down this part too, we have a pure sand. The pure sand permits to grow Pinot Noir. So the Pinot Noir is a dark grape as the Pinot Meunier. Maybe you know it because there is many wine based on Pinot Noir. So the advantage as we grow there this type of grape, it permits to bring into the wine the Charpenter. The Pinot Meunier will bring you the bucket of the wine, and then the Chardonnay will bring you the fine parts and make the preservation of the wine. It permits to keep the wine for a long time. That's why usually in Champagne you can drink the Champagne. It's usually a blending wine, because in the wine we put Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier for most of cuvées in Champagne. So after we can have some specificity as Blanc de Blanc. So usually it's 100% Chardonnay. But sometimes it could be a little blend with Chardonnay or with Pinot Blanc or with Petit Méliès or with Arban. So it's not because it's Blanc de Blanc that it's just Chardonnay. Be careful, we can mix several grapes, varieties all together. So close to that, the making process in Champagne permits us to grow the grapes. So with the climate, so we are not allowed to irrigate our fields when it grows, only to protect them in spring frost, because in Champagne we can have spring frost that destroys the shoots. So to be sure to have a harvest, we can protect sometimes the vineyard as spreading water, and like that it permits to protect the shoots. As you bring water, the temperature inside stays at 0 degrees Celsius, and if you continue to bring some, you have a massive part of ice, but the shoots do not frost. So that's the only moment we can bring water. At the other time, we don't bring any water for feeding the vineyards. After that, the vineyard grows, so with the classic method of Champagne, as you will grow your own grapes. But close to that, we will have to pick the harvest. So the harvest is always made by hand. So we employ many people. Here we employed 45 people for around 10 days for picking grapes. We are not allowed to use machinery, because like that it permits to select the grapes to obtain the best quality of the grape for making the high top wine as called as Champagne. So we have just finished the harvest now, the day before yesterday night. So you will be close the press machine, but and we will explain you the making process. So we have harvested everything. This year were very beautiful. Only sun like that except the first day, because each year if you don't have rain, you don't exit the boots and or the raincoat and things like that, so it won't be fun. So the first day under the rain, and then it was really hot and sun. The harvests were very beautiful because there is a long time we didn't have a so beautiful harvest. Many grapes. We did a harvest and a half. We have bring all the grapes into the winery. We're going to make very good champagne for you for the future. So it will be good. So at this moment we're going now to see the press machine. You will see it's a Coca, that's a high class top machine for pressing the grapes. So it's a local company who made them. It costs really more than a classic press machine, but the result at the end has nothing to compare. So if one day you need a press machine, buy a Coca. It's a top machine. I will explain you so the making process, and we were going to the winery. So we will cross quite fast the winery because it's fermenting. So you will smell. It smells good. I like that very much. And then we will go visiting. We will spend more time at the riding room for finishing to explain the making process. After that, we will get in another room, the small eco-museum, to understand how grow the vineyard and to show what you can find. And you will see we just rent the soil and we're just passing in a short time in our life to compare to what we can find underground. And after we will have the aperitif and the meal together. So, ready for the tour?
Yes. We. For us that don't.
So, everybody is here. If you have any question, you can ask them. I'll try to answer them if I can. So, what you can see, this is two press machines. This one is an old press machine that we were using many years ago. We stopped it 10 years ago. It was bought in 1978. This traditional system, you saw outside, many has taken some picture. We were having the vertical press. 100,000 kilograms, then 400 added, and we were pressing by hand. Very hard job. After we have invited that type of machine. So we were loading it up inside and then pressing with two plates. After the meal, you could go and have a look inside to see how it's made. So you have an Archimedes screw and it's squeezing the press, the grapes in the middle. So this process were okay, and then we have a good guy that has invited this press machine. This press machine has another idea. You can see we have a special angle here. All the parts inside is mobile. We put the grape inside. You must know that we never mix the grape at the beginning. We always separate the grape varieties, or Pinot Noir, or Pinot Meunier, or Chardonnay, or Petit Mêlé, or Arbane, or Pinot Gris, or Fromenteau. We never mix them at the beginning, always separate. And as we can, we separate the young and the old parcel, because you don't make the same one. So this press machine permits to catch the grapes on their own ways. So we have a mobile part that has the same angle as the part you can see there. And the advantage is all the grapes are blocked and they press themselves by their own ways. So it permits to do not move the grapes, to rotate and to crush the grapes. On a cylinder like that you have some rotation, so it's mixing the grapes. And then it crushes a little bit the grapes. Here you have the complete grapes, never broken. So the juice for by gravity take a little bit more time for pressing, but the quality has nothing to come because you really just extract the juice. We usually call it as must because the must is a blend of juice, pulp, juice skins, and pits. But with this process, we have just the juice. So very clear juice and easier for working. So after, to make the retrousse, is the second press of the grapes. We have the mobile parts that go away, and all the parts that were up go down, fold by themselves, and everything which is down go up. So you push again, and then you finish, you block them, and the juice finish to fold by itself. So like that, you have a very clear juice. So all the juice falls in these parts. So we have 4 parts, because the first 100 liters are sent to distillery, because you can have dust, sheet of birds and things like that, so we are not fond of that for making champagne, because we don't wash the grapes, we keep directly the grape by itself. And then we extract the bigger part, which is called the cuvée. The cuvée is a top class quality juice that we obtain at the pressing. After that we have a third juice called first type, which is a little bit more colored and the quality starts to decline. And then the last juice that we send to distillery called as type 2. So we don't use them for making good champagne. We send them to distillery. So we have many tax in France. To pay the tax, you have two solutions. Or you pay in cash, or you pay in volume with juice and things like that. So everything is recycling champagne. Nothing is waste. We don't pollute because all the juice we don't use are sent to distillery. And the other part of the stalls, so all the grapes which are pressed into the press machine but not finished to extract properly the juice, are sent to another company that will make or fin de champagne, which is a distillation of wine of champagne, or mar de champagne, which is a distillation of the stalls by themselves. And after that, all the residue are sent to make some fertilizer to the vineyard. And for the pips, they are separate and they make special oils with the pips for the skins for women mostly, and or for making cooking. Sometimes I call my wife my cookie because. So now we're going to get inside and to visit the winery. So you will see it smell. So we are starting the alcoholic fermentation. The alcoholic fermentation is just a change in state of the first juice we have, rich in sugar. So it starts to ferment and then it becomes alcohol and very good wine. But it will finish as a still wine. So it will take about 2 weeks for fermenting, and then we will start the second thing, which is called malolactic fermentation. The malolactic fermentation is a disease of the wine that we control very easily in vats. It can start at any moment. So if you don't do the malolactic fermentation, that transforms primary acid in secondary acid as lactic acid that you have in the milk. When you drink milk, you have the same acidity as you can find in the wine. So for you, it permits to have wine more round and with less sulfates into the wine. Because sulfates make you headache, stomachache, and sometimes for your leg, it's not good too. So at home, we don't bring many sulfates in our wine, just a little bit, and then no problem. I'm very easily sick with sulfates, so I'm the first consumer of my product. If I have some left, I save it. So I think. Are you okay? No problem for that. So we get inside the winery, which was quite fast. I ask you to do not touch barrels with some barrels, stainless vat, barrels, and epoxy vat. I ask you to do not touch because they are fermenting and sometimes just knock the barrel can make them fizzing and make us volatile. So be careful. Let's get inside.
Merci.
You can see we use 3 types of vats. You can see stainless vats, epoxy vats, and wood vats as barrels. So we use them for making different types of wine. The advantage of the vats is different. If you take one type of vats, you will have one type of wine with the same field to separate the grapes. You make vinification in stainless vat, you will have a dry wine. If you make them in epoxy wine, you will have a round wine, and if you make in barrels wine, you will have a wood taste with your wine. The barrels are always both new and designed and made specifically for each grape varieties of my house. It's very important. All woods are from France, from different forests, and the other parts are usually they are made in Burgundy because we work together very well between the manufacturer and myself for using the barrel. So it's a teamwork. They know exactly what I'm looking for, and they can make very good barrels.
How many times do you use a barrel?
So I would say there is no limit, but usually for me after 3 to 4 years I change them. So I rotate by third each barrel. Because a part is used for a special cuvée called Brut de Fût, but I will have in the future another cuvée made by my wife from a special locating parcel. So it's on the way. So she do it by herself because she likes very much making wine. And close to that, the other barrels are used for making blending with Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay for making the Brut de Fût.
What do you do with the old barrels?
Decoration. And that's it. I give some to friends.
There's no market for them. No one will buy them.
Not especially because I could resell them as second-hand barrels, but I'm not looking for making copy of that of my wine. So unique for me. Don't mind. It's an investment. I resize them by myself. So now we're going to change to another room. So I move quite fast because as you breathe, you smell it's smelling the fermentation.
Yeah.
I don't want to because
There's nothing. There's nothing in. Just so you could choose. The voice damage in the grapes, so it's
Just enough.
Move in, people, move in, come on, move in. Not you, never you.
Okay, everybody's there?
We,
Count yourself.
oh no, there's more coming. We have to move in some more, I think. There's more people
So
coming.
like they get into the vats, they want
Yeah.
you to get inside to be
Yes.
sure they can get.
Oh, there are.
I want to wash them.
Just back on you.
You can get inside. Everybody can get in the vats. Easy, you just put your arm first and then everything. And for the to exit, that's the same. You take the same way. Don't try to change.
Je vais passer derrière.
Okay, so everybody's here. So we can continue the making process. After making the still wine, the malolactic fermentation, we have the still wine, drinkable as a white wine. But in Champagne, we are interesting of bubbling wine. So the process will be simple. We take all our vats or all our barrels, and we will do our blend. So we take a part of each parcels, and we will do the blending to add a little bit Chardonnay, little bit Pinot Noir, little bit Pinot Meunier, and then making a good blend for each different type of cuvée we want to obtain. So we have some young cuvée, we have some middle-aged cuvée, and we have some old cuvée. So everything must be thinking at the beginning, because you must project your wine when you make it. So in vats, that's why we have several vats and we separate our wine inside. It permits like that to choose and to make special blends. So when we do the blends, we do it on a round table. We take the family we have the recipe of each cuvée, so we decide all together which one we're going to blend with that, and at the end, I'm the boss, so I'm the the final taste. I say, okay, we take that one. So it's always a big war, but it's very fun. A good job, enjoyable. So usually we do it in December. Why December? Simply because after making the alcoholic fermentation, which is quite short, we do the malolactic fermentation, which is quite short too, a little bit longer, but quite short. So in 1 month and a half, everything is done. So we have still wine that we keep, and then with the time, all the macro component goes down the vats. So as we are taking some samples for blending the wine, what we do after is we do the big blending. So we take a big vat we have, we blend the wine for making all the different cuvées. After making the blending, we have a mistake that most of people, your hall, has ever done. We freeze the wine. Why do we freeze the wine? Simply because if you take a bottle of champagne and we don't do the mistake before you, usually you drink one bottle, you enjoy it very much, and you say, oh, God, I forget to put the second one. So you take your second bottle and you put them into the deep freezer. And you create a thermic shock. So usually it's in French 20 degrees Celsius at home, 18 degrees Celsius below zero, thermic shock, your wine is stressed, so it reacts. And all the components that has been catch into the underground try to make a crystallization. So the problem is when you open a bottle and you have this process, we call it the tartrate precipitation, the wine reacts, and when you open the bottle, all your bottle is out because it's phasing so fast that you have nothing to drink. You have just to see, but nothing to drink. It's a pity. So we do the mistake before you. We freeze our wine. We bring them at 4 degrees below zero for 24 hours to create this thermic shock, and then we extract this tartrate component. After that, the wine comes back to its own temperature. The best temperature is around 12 degrees Celsius. So we take our wine and we bottle. Usually we bottle in mid-March at home. Why mid-March? Because usually we have finished pruning the vineyards, because we do wine, but for making wine you need vineyards. So we have finished pruning the vineyards, and at the other time the temperature is important for making a good champagne. Because for your champagne, if it's too cold for the fermentation we will do in bottle, we will have some problem. If it's too warm, it's another problem. So mid-March, usually we have 10 to 12 degrees Celsius in days, in caves, and outside. So the advantage is as we refill each year new bottles, at the bottling we put the blend we have made of the year. We complete with yeast of champagne, we redevelop, and we bring sugar to give them some food as we need. So at this moment in bottles, we were having a still wine, and it will start for 2 months to ferment very slowly, and then you will obtain the bubbles of champagne. So the pressure will get high, so we control with a simple process, which is called an euphrometer. It permits to have the pressure you have in a bottle. So you can see there we are over 7 bar pressure in a bottle. More than 2 times you put in a tire of car, to give you an idea. So in case of puncture, take a bottle of champagne. So after the pressure we have obtained, we have something into the bottle. As you can see, it's not really clear. So you don't have that. I hope you don't have that at home when you drink some champagne, because you will have a problem. So to do not have this problem, that's just the result of the fermentation of the yeast we have added with the sugar to obtain the 7 bar pressure into the bottle. So the job we will have to do is to extract this sedimentation. This sedimentation we don't want to extract too early. We keep the wine minimum after bottling 3 years. Top quality is 5 years, and really top quality is 7 to 10 years. So at home we have a 3-year champagne, and then we have most of our champagne 5 to 7 years. So the really good quality wines like that. So all you can see there is the yeast that has died after fermenting. So after making the process, the yeast becomes a food for the wine. And because we have this yeast, it permits to make aging the champagne in bottle. If you extract too fast the yeast, you won't have a good quality of champagne, you can't age it. If you extract the lees here, you consider the wine as dead because it has no food for aging. You will have just an oxidation of the wine, but not a real aging of the wine. So we leave them slowly in case, in pallets, as you can see there. So we have some everywhere in the house. We still with them. That's our bank. It's liquid bank here. And what we do, after that, before drinking the bottle, we will have to ride the bottle. So the riding is the process to bring all the sediment of the bottle into the neck of the bottle. So we can do it by hand. We have some rack here to do the show. So I can show you on this bottle. For example, we start at the horizontal position like that. And then we start as a screw. So we go at the opposite of the clock. And then you always screw. And you turn at the same time. And you lift a little bit. So it can take 5 weeks for riding the bottle by hand to bring all the sediment into the neck of the bottle here. So you see this bottle is not completely finished. It will be nearly finished. And then the wine must be clear. When you watch it, it must be very clear. If it's not clear, that's because you have missed your job. Because the job by hand is to bring the sediment of the bottle. In the bottle, you have two types of sediment, a light one and a heavy one. So all the process is to be able to bring the light ones that fly into the bottle and the big one into the bottle. That's why it's a really specialist job for turning the bottle. And now to help us, we have automatic machines that we can program, so you can see them back yourself. They do exactly the same work than by hand, but it goes a little bit faster because for the bottle, we go sleeping, we eat, we drink. And then Sunday time is important in France, Saturday too, and sometime afternoon of Wednesday, so not enough job to do, so riding machine are very good for that, they turn night and days. So you divide by 2 the time, so in 2 weeks it's done. It could go faster, but as we don't like bringing chemical product in the wine and champagne, we work with the nature. That's why we have just clay into the bottle at the blending. We put a little bit for helping for the riding. So it takes time for making the process, but it's really natural and really good for your health. So no problem with the champagne for choosing it because it's really well made as with very old traditional method. After that, it's not finished. Our job is to extract this sediment. So the sediment we have to be extracted. So to extract the sediment, we can do it by hand, but one bottle it's easy. But if you have several and 1,000 bottles to do, the problem, it will take a long time. So now everybody is in a hurry, well, you must arrive to the town where you must go, but it's not done, so everything goes too fast. So now we use a new method. The classic method where you were taking your bubble of gas here, bring it, the bubble of gas up the bottle, and at the same time you were opening the caps. And then, as you were opening the caps, you have the 7-bar pressure into the bottle. The pressure were pushing the deposit you have into the neck of the bottle. The problem, we were putting our finger on the bottle to stop at hands, because all the bottle will be wasted. So, and English people told us one day, we're going to die. So we did all this fake. What's wrong with us? Yes, you put your finger on the bottle, and then we will drink it. Yes, sure. I do that each time I drink some. We don't want that. We want you to do not put your finger. So we have to invite a system, a process to stop the wine. So we are invited the freezing method to do not put the finger on. So now we freeze 2 or 3 centimeters of the neck of the bottle. It takes a quarter to do it. And then, as you have an ice fork that catch the sediment, you can turn the bottle up as you have the 7 bar pressure and the ice cork inside, you open the caps. As the 7 bar are here, they push the ice cork with the sediment, and then the wine is clear, and you don't need to put your finger on. We have many things in our mind. Champagne give you good ideas. After that, the problem is we have to complete our bottle because we have lose a little bit volume of the bottle. So the process will be simple. We complete with wine of the house, saturated in sugar cane, and the recipe of great grandmother, that I won't tell it to you. And then we bring our final cork, which is a cylinder like that. So made in 3 parts for us. A part is agglomerated cork, and then 2 direct natural pieces. The first piece is in contact with the wine, we call it the mirror, because the mirror is watching the wine. So that's why we call it like that. So sometimes I talk to him, but he never answered me. That's why I open another one. Always the same word. Boom. So it's like. And then, as we have just lost half bar of pressure in our bottle, because we have just lost the part of gas into the bottle. All the other part of the pressure is into the wine. That all the bubbles you will find in your glass when you will open the bottle. So to keep the cork on the bottle, we compress it, we put it into the bottle, and then we put what we call the muzzle. The muzzle permits to catch the cork on the bottle, and then for you it will be easy when you extract the muzzle to open the bottle with it. So between the first harvest, I would say, and the first bottle, we will say, we are nearly 4 years of aging. Because it takes time. After the disgorging, as the liquor hasn't got the same densities as the wine, it takes time for really mixing together the wine. That's why we forget it in case. They sleep together. It makes a good wedding because one enjoy drinking it. So. But it takes time. After that, we label. If you need for some bottle for America, for Japan, China, Africa, in Europe too. But another one sometime when they're thirsty, we can ship some. So we label the bottles and then we can send them for our customers.
Do you make a different blend for different destinations? For example, is the Brouillet different for China?
No. For me, I consider people are discovering a specific product, so you must adapt yourself. It's not an industrial product. I don't make for the taste of everybody. That the body will define the wine, taste it, and learn how to enjoy it. It's very important. We're completely at the opposite of a process you would do for most of people, massive people. Here, no. We express what the nature has given us. That's my job. So after you like my nature or you don't like.
You produce 100,000 bottles a year.
So we produce 100,000 bottles
Does that
per
make
year.
you a large, a small, or
So we are small. I would say we are big into the small world of producers, and we are small in big houses. I got 2 chairs. I'm sitting on 2 chairs, so it's quite difficult, but it's okay. That's why I drink a lot of it to be okay. But what is interesting is a company like us. We are very small growers. A bit more. The Champagne area is 36,000 hectares of vineyards. On the 36,000 hectares of vineyard, you have 16,000 people who harvest. They declare harvesting grapes. So if you make the division, we have half hectare per person. So after people who sell champagne, we are just 5,000 people. So selling champagne could be your own champagne you make by yourself, or you take your bottle, you deliver your grape to a cooperative or to a negotiant, and you bring back your bottle, you label them with your name. We're just 5,000 people. And then people independent like us, who make more than 50,000 people, were just 194 houses. So we are very small houses to making the complete process and to sell our product. And more the time will go on, less we will be. because we have the big companies which are buying the small companies. So it's a big problem, but maybe you have the same problem in your country too. So we are rustic and independent has a mind quite difficult usually. So I'm not ready to be sold my house. So you come back for many years. We will enjoy drinking all together the champagne. So now we're going to move to go to visit the Smoloko Museum to understand how we grow our grapes and what is the underground. Because the Chardonnay, I would say, it's like bad grass. You know, it grows everywhere. The Chardonnay, you have some everywhere in the world. But Chardonnay, specifically from Champagne, has its own taste because of the underground and because of the climate. So, you know the climate, always sunny, as you see, because if it's raining outside, it's always sunny in the cave. But the underground, you will see very interesting. Yes?
Oh, thank you. Right.
The old press you have there were used by my granddad and my grandmother. We finished using it in 1982, close to the yellow and brown you saw into the machinery there. That's the traditional press you can find in Champagne, so it was a hard job. 1,000 kilograms and 400 on it and pressing. But now it's easier, you just press the button. It's cool. It's really more easy now.
Oh.
Chalk.
Substitute to this. No, we always start it because harvest with no fire is not because usually it's 6 more times. We are more in advance.